My name is Kristen. I'm a CLC and your best friend. Let's play with the Air One. All right, let's get something straight. It is called the Momcozy Ear One. I call it the A1. It just rolls off the tongue. It's easier to say. I don't have to remind myself of what needs to come next. It's always going to be the A1. So when I say A1, you know I'm talking about the Momcozy Ear One. I have a formal review published at BeMyBestFriend.com. So you can head there and read it and see pictures and tags of other items that have helped me make the A1 work for me, which I'm going to get to here in the visual. But I love to follow up all of my reviews with Chit-Chat so you can really see it in person and I can talk about it more in depth. First things first, let's just address the obvious. It comes in a carrying case which charges, so you can charge and power up the case itself. I need some battery here. I'm going to have to hook this up later. Just USB-C, nothing crazy, super easy. Just charge that, and then you've got two little monitors here. That one they are seated in, which let's see if it does it. There we go. So now they're charging, which is probably on its last leg, as we know. And then on top of that, I think the other thing that everyone is just really enticed by is the fact that it is super slim. They could not have made this any more slim. And if they can, I'd love to see it because it would be a real competition. And I'm not sugarcoating it. These are truly the slimmest pump because you could find slim cups, right? There are several slim cups out there. Unfortunately, I have never found one that really works very well. And so I was a little reluctant, a little nervous about a slim pump because in my experience, slim cups just aren't very great. Well, I am very happy to report that I have found some super success with this slim pump, but not without a little bit of help, which I will get into. So let's break down the cup and the pump. One thing that I will say right out of the gate, because I don't want to pretend that this doesn't worry me, when I pull the cup off of the housing, I am always a little nervous. Like, heaven forbid this backing plate comes off with it. There's no reason why it should, but that is why I try to like pop it both sides. One and then two. This is coming off very easily. It's making me look like a fool. But when it's full of milk, maybe it's just in my head. I'm in my own head. But I pop it a little more carefully and then I pull it straight off because I don't want this suction nipple. And I don't think it would, but I don't want to take a chance of it like pulling out or like cocking the backing plate to one side and then heaven forbid I lose all my milk. I have not had that happen. This is in my head, but I want to express my concern because I don't think that every pump is rainbows and sunshine. I think there's always going to be something that can use some work or something to be aware of. And in my case, for this cup, this is it. So I pop one side and then I pop the other side and I always go straight out. The cup itself, I've had it could sit on its own, it holds its own. Great for traveling or in your kitchen. You don't have to worry about anything falling over or holding its balance. Obviously, it's a very flat bottom. So you've got the backflow protector, and then you've got this purple looking thing here, which is your duckbill. So you have two very proprietary pieces that make up the cup. Is there anything wrong with that? Not necessarily. I don't know what the price of the replacements are. So that I can't speak to just yet. Once I have that information, I will put it in the comments here, of course. But right out of the gate, I don't know what that's going to cost. I can't imagine it's going to be super crazy, but it is very special. So if you want to use something that is a knockoff version, you're not going to be able to do that with this pump. So it is going to be what they offer is what you're going to use. The flange itself is a silicone flange. However, I don't think it works like a silicone flange, but I do appreciate that it's not plastic because I'm not a huge fan of plastic anyways. What I do like though is that it pops into these two ball bearings, which I talk about in the review. You've got these grooves on the flange, which you could hear, it pops in. And because of the design, we know it's super slim. And with super slim designs, you get a shortened tunnel. So my worry was, oh, great, this may not be super awesome for elastic tissue. I have elastic tissue, and I will say that I actually don't have that much trouble with these pumps when I add a cushion. But naked, just as is, out of the case into my bra, I don't pump very comfortably. I do need a cushion. But with the cushion comes super comfort. I'm very happy with them. One thing that I think has got to be mentioned is how see-through and transparent this cup is. You can see, I'm going to stick my finger in here. Hello. So you're looking for nipple alignment. You cannot get any easier than this design. So even like looking from on top, right? It's in your bra and you're like, oh, there she is. Like, no problem. You can see your nipple alignment. It's not a guessing game. You're not worried. You're not trying to like fit it up. And it just goes right in. You can start up your pump, and then naturally you're going to be looking, and then you can drop it and move it to where it needs to go. That is probably the coolest feature about this assembly is how easy it is to see the inside of your flange for your nipple movement when expressing milk. And that's another thing. You put it in and you're like, okay, now I know that I'm center. And then you can look a little closer and then you can see the milk moving and you know that you're expressing comfortably. Pull up your top, carry on. And then if you need to see anything more, you can open up the app because it communicates to your phone. That could be a pro and a con. I can see both sides of the fence. And I agree. I know that I don't want technology in my bra all the time, but I have to admit that I have found that the app that communicates with this pump is insane because it has 5 sensors. Sensor on both sides. So we got there, you can hardly see them. There's a sensor right there. Let me turn this around. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So between the 5 sensors, you've got this communication to an app that tells you in real time, not just a GIF, not just some sticker image on your app that's like, oh, it's moving, like, right? Because the milk is flowing and it's filling, but you don't actually know what it's doing. Not with the Momcozy Air 1 or the A1, you can tell that it's filling all the way up. And when it gets up to the top, you get just bombarded with alerts like you need to check, you're going to overflow because the sensors are telling you in real time and showing you on the image on the app as well that you will overflow. So there is a cap here, which I think is fabulous. There's a little peephole here for the suction to exit, right? So when the pump is suctioning, the pressure needs to release somewhere. That's why we have this little hole in the top. The hole, if you slosh enough, you will have a little bit of dribble. So this is not 100% leak proof and it will overflow because it does not turn off. I am not going to say that I wish it would turn off. I like that it doesn't. I like that it just like bombards you with alerts. If you look at my review, you'll see a screenshot. It's just one after another because I was really dangerously close and it told me you're going to overflow. And then I was able to turn it off because I just used the app as like my control station. So I did everything from in there. It is great. I don't really know what to say without sounding like I'm trying to blow sunshine up anybody's back end because I am very pleased with this pump. I was reluctant in the beginning. I did have trouble with just using this pump as a naked pump in the beginning. So, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons, but ultimately, I find myself reaching for this pump a lot, especially when I know that, like, I am going to be out for a little while. I don't have to worry about charging. And I hate to say this because if you've read any of my reviews, I'm just not a big lover of tech on my breasts, but I love this app. If the app wasn't so great, I probably would be like, whatever, like I would probably do without it because I don't want the app. I don't, if it's not that beneficial and I'm not really using it, then what's the point, right? But the app is so helpful that it just makes everything easier. I was getting my nails done this last time and I was sitting there pumping with these in my bra and I had my app and my phone open. And as I was getting my nails done, I was watching the app and I could see the milk rise and I knew to turn it off before I would have trouble with overflowing. So there's definitely a lot to be said about the app and how well it communicates. This isn't a comparison, but we know that the LV original has sensors that are supposed to communicate and turn off before it overflows, and it's just a fiasco because it's not accurate. It turns off your pump, it's hard to turn back on. It's like just a pain in the butt game. But with these sensors on the Momcozy A1, they're so accurate that I don't second guess. Like, is my milk really that high? Am I really that close to overflowing? I know based on all of the experience that I've had so far using this pump, which has been a lot. That's why I was able to confidently give you a review. It is super close. So this guy holds 6 ounces and he takes it all the way to the top, which in my opinion, 6 ounces is a lot for this cup because you're dangerously close to the pour spout and that little weep hole. You're definitely going to get a little bit if you're sloshing around. If you're just sitting at a desk typing, you're good to go. I'm not worried about it at all. But 6 ounces, it's a really great capacity. You're dangerously close to the top, so I don't know that I'd want to push the limits regularly, but it can hold 6 ounces. That's what it's designed to do. And now let's talk about how I make this work for me. I don't really like when I have to buy something to make something I've already bought work. So, is this pump worth it? Should you be spending more money to get something that you've already spent enough money on to work? This pump is so effective and I find to be so comfortable that, in my opinion, it is worth adding a cushion. It is worth making that extra purchase to make these work the best for you. If you don't need them, great. But if you're like, I don't know, I feel like these are okay, but they could be better, add a cushion. LV makes cushions from 15, 17, and 19 millimeters. I have found to be actually oddly awesome. I'm not a fan of the company, but I absolutely love this cushion. They really did a great job. And then in addition to that, we've got this one here. So this is a breast cushion that I use on my side that I require 24. And then I use this guy on my side that I actually use a 21 normally, but I find the 19 millimeter cushion with this A1 is actually really comfortable. So I use two cushions at all times when I use this pump. Again, I use this guy on my 24. I use this on my other side. And because of these cushions and the hold back on my breast tissue, it just allows me to more comfortably pump in this flange. So I do find that my nipple does come a bit into the flange tunnel itself. Like I had said, it's a shorter tunnel, and with elastic tissue, you're kind of playing in the red zone here. But I really find that these cushions make all the difference for me. So not only does it increase my comfort on this flange material, but it also holds back my breast tissue enough where I can see that I am just like outside of hitting the back of the tunnel. So it does hold back my tissue enough where I'm not having trouble with the shortened flange length, which is a big deal because if you have elastic tissue, you might see this and immediately think, well, it's not for me. And I'm not going to say that you're always going to have luck with this, even if you bring in a cushion, but hopefully, if that is the plan and you're able to get your hands on these and you really want to make them work for you and you have elastic tissue, I do suggest bringing in a cushion because I'm confident that you're going to find it to be really helpful. And I think too, knowing that you can see into the flange tunnel, like I call this the fishbowl for your nipples because it's like clear as day, you can tell if you're hitting. So if you're having any kind of discomfort or something, it's going to be a lot easier to dial in where that problem is because this is so easy to see through. That is what I have to use. I don't really want to get, there's nothing really more to say about it other than this is what I've been using to make this more comfortable for me. Something I do want to say, let's talk a little bit of really quickly about some cons here. Like I had shared earlier, when I pull this apart, I have had milk that didn't make it into the tunnel come down and sit into the base. So that could be a problem. It only happens to me when I'm really full and it doesn't make it all the way into the cup. But otherwise, again, no real issues. Another thing I want to express that this could be a real concern for someone if you don't take more care or attention of your pumps when you put them in. The connectors for the power source on the case to the pump is at the bottom. So if you have any sitting residue, any kind of liquid, and you put it in while it's attempting to charge, you could have a little bit of an issue there and you could probably fry these connectors. So I would definitely stay aware of that. But if you put your pumps back in dry, you assemble everything or whatever, I wouldn't be too worried about it. So really, I don't want to say it's neglect, but it could definitely be an oversight. So make sure that when you handle your pumps, you handle them clean and dry, and then you don't have to worry about frying your connectors. Again, they sit right in there. It could not be easier. I am very happy with this pump. If I missed anything that I should have talked about, let me know because I am here to answer all your questions.